Hi there, welcome to my channel. So in today's video, I'll be showing you a small demo in which I will show you how to use the AWS App Runner in order to deploy a web app on Nginx server. So we will be creating an image, container image. We will push it that to the Amazon container registry. Then we will use the App Runner service in order to deploy our web app. But most importantly in this, I'll be using a Visual Studio Code and I can use the CLI. If you want, you can also use the CLI. But most of the things I will try to do it from the Visual Studio Code terminal and we will be using a Docker. So prerequisites, make it sure you have a Docker desktop installed and Visual Studio Code installed along with the various toolkit being added to the Visual Studio Code, the extensions being added to the Visual Studio Code. And I think no need of having AWS CLI, but before that, like you can set up the environments through the Visual Studio Code, like AWS configure, you pass your AWS ID or the secrets that you have created. So we can configure that before uh, doing this demo. So just a prerequisite is there. You can set up the environment and you make it sure you have the Docker engine installed and Visual Studio Code installed. So before we proceed, like we will create a container. So that will be having our sample web app. So I will just move on to the Visual Studio Code, but make it sure you have your environment set up in order to integrate with the ECR, pushing your image, and as well as authorizing the Docker in order to push the image into the container registry. So I'll be showing you. Let's move on to the Visual Studio Code. Okay, before proceeding into the Visual Studio Code, just I would like to share with you the various benefits that we can have with the App Runner. We can have our application development as well as deployment accelerated, automatic scale applications. We can have our built-in security and compliance feature, as well as seamless integration with the AWS services. So we can have our front-end and back-end applications. We can run our microservices simultaneously. So these are the key benefits of having App Runner. So you need not to think about anything about the load balancer, security, and all. So everything is being taken care of by the AWS App Runner. So just open the command prompt. Okay. Oops. CMT. Okay, so I'm just going to create a directory. So let's say mkdir. You can do through Visual Studio Code also if you want it. Let's say next demo. Okay, then change directory. Okay, so this is the location where I'm going to create my application. So let's move on to that. Okay, so you can see this is a Visual Studio Code. Make it sure you have these extensions added over here in order to easily integrate these things through the Visual Studio Code. No need of going to the CLI and all, then running those commands. You can directly use it from here once you configure it. So we have already created the folder. So let's open the location over here. Open the folder. So it is in my users. Let me go to the okay. So so this is my folder. So I will just select this one. It will just give you a pop-up to authorize. I think it didn't give it. If it's giving you, just select all. give the whole permissions, no issues with that. So here I'm going to, okay, this is what trust authors, you can apply. Okay, new file. Let's say I'm having this index.html. So let's create this file. So it is in the same location, just create the file. So I will just mention over here, just a simple, just a random, just HTML, just I'm not putting anything head and all those things. I'm just putting a paragraph over here. You can put all the details about the CSS and all those things. If you want, you can do it. Just I'm just showing you a demo, AWS App Runner demo. Okay, so that's all. So it's telling you to add this meta elements and all. You can just, if you want, you can add it over here. Anyways, so we are not going into deep into that, those things, HTML things and all. So now next thing that we have to, you can see our index file has been created. You can just run it in a browser and you can check it. Okay, next thing that we have to create over here, new file. So we need to have our Docker file. So click on this create a Docker file. Okay, you can name it as, okay, let it be just like this, Docker file. You can see it's being created. I think it didn't pick up. Let me try one more time. Let me remove this. Okay, so let me file, new file, Docker file. Okay, I'll just rename this. Okay, so you can see it's fine now. Now we have to like download the latest image, then we need to put it in the working directory, then we can copy the index file to it. So these are the few commands we have to write it in this Docker file. So I will just put it here. So this is how you need to define it from platform Linux, AMD in Linux latest work directory. Um, then copy this, that's all. So we need to use the build command over here. Let me save this one over here. So we can write over here. Let me open the terminal. So command palette. So we can directly choose. You can see Docker images build. So you can, this is the name that is by default coming, just click enter. So it will build your image. So see, you need not to memorize any commands and all. Visual Studio Code is quite handy tool. So we can utilize that. Okay, so you can see it's just being created, the build. In the meantime, you can check over here. If you click in the Docker, you can see the images over here. So these are my existing images, and you can see the one that we created, it starts showing over here once you click on the Docker over here. So that's all, it is being created. Now the next thing that we have to do is to create a container registry, Amazon ECR. So we will go to the console and just create one repository in which we'll be pushing our image. So let's move on to the AWS console. Okay, once you are here, we can come to this Amazon Elastic Container Registry, from where we can share and deploy our container web app. So we can click on this create repository, keep it private, don't make it public, and this is the concise name that you want to use. Let's say Max demo. Oops. Okay, that's all. Then over here, we will just keep it rest of the things default, no need of changing anything. Just we will keep it as it is. Just we will click on the create repository. So our repository has been created successfully. So we will go to the repository over here, view push commands over here. So you can see here a few commands are there. Now the very first thing that we need to authenticate our um, Docker as well as the ECR. So make it sure you are using this screen. This Windows is like this, get ECR command, and you need to authenticate your Docker with this container registry. Then only you can push it. If you try to push it, it will give you some error message. So you can create tag, like we can create the tag. So before that, we need to make sure we are passing this. Let me copy this command. Even I can show you over here. We can go to the Visual Studio. Here we can open the Control P, Script P. We can we can just go here, go to the terminal, new terminal, let it be, and just we can. Okay, so this is the command that we need to run, but make it sure one thing, we need to make sure the region in which we have created the registry is it similar, the one that we are putting in the command. It is the same command that we have copied. So password this, Docker. I think I have copied twice. Let me remove it once. Let me remove it completely so I can copy paste. Okay, so that's all. Let's try this one. Okay, so you can see login has succeeded. So if you don't utilize this command, you will be facing some issues like you cannot push. So you cannot have your container registry getting like latest image from this Docker. So once this one is done, so our image has been built. Once the connection between your ECR and the Docker has been done, next command that we need to execute is we can create a tag over here. So it is the latest that is being added over here. So we can go back to the terminal here. So next command is tag. That's it. Now after this, our next is the push command. So we'll copy this Docker push and we'll go to the Visual Studio Code. This is how we are going to see push over here. So if you're getting error, like if you're getting some credentials not found or if the user is not being authenticated and all, so you can make it sure that the very first command that executed the token one, the password one, it should, the login should succeed. If it is not succeeding, this means there is something issues. You need to configure the environment again. So that things you can do it over here. You can see over here AWS profile. It is getting listed over here. So when you go to the AWS toolkit, you can like extensions. It will tell you to you can just open this terminal, and you can run the very first command AWS configure. Configure your ID and the password secret and the region if you want it. So that's how you can configure the environment. Then again, you can try the token again. If you have any difficulties, you can just comment on my video. I will let you know how to how to overcome those problems. So make it sure you set up your environment first. Okay, so let's go to the console. We should be able to see our latest image over here. So I'm working in the US West 2. So this is our repository. Let's check over here. So this is the latest image that is being pushed from my Docker to the ECR. So I will copy this one. So you can see there is a image scan status to check the vulnerabilities and all those things. These things are there. So it's just giving you an overview. So this is my image URI. So I will just go to the, now next thing is AWS App Runner. So I'll just open in a new tab. Now make it show I'm using this US West 2 region. So make it sure your region for this is same, otherwise you'll be having some issues like connectivity and all. So I'll just create, again, I'm cross-checking. This is, I'm running this app runner in US West 2. Okay, so this is my container registry. Sometimes when you browse over here, it won't show you the image. I will recommend, so I have already copied from there the image URI. So that's how you can, even sometimes it takes some time to browse and show it over there. So if you're not getting, don't worry, just put the URI that you have copied from the Elastic Container Registry. Then rest of the things, let it be manual. No need of using the existing role, make it create a new service role. And that's it. I think we are good to go with this. Let's click next. Okay, so I'll just put the service name like my demo app runner. Okay, so CPU, virtual memory, no need to touch anything. I'll just choose over here port 80, and that's all. So you can see there is a configure automatic scaling behavior. You can have a health check, load balancer health checks and all. You can have some security, permissions, everything you can do it in one go. So I'm not touching those things. Like you can still do it yourself. Like you can see, it is a default configuration, how many concurrency requests, how many instances you want. Maximum instance, you can have it 25. So you can create auto scaling configuration. You can also go ahead with the health check every 5 seconds. It will check the TCP interval 10 seconds, whether it's unhealthy or healthy, it will give you the response for that. Then security, then you can have your IAM role to which you can give the permissions. So these things you can do it. You can also enable the WAF, Web Application Firewall, to control the ACL to protect against your web exploits and the bots. So you need to go to the AWS WAF, so you can explore this option also. Then we have the networking, how the service communicates. Then we can also have a observation with the AWS X-ray. So all the things are being integrated in the App Runner, so you can like explore a lot with this once you enable these options. So it will take care, basically AWS App Runner is taking care of all the aspects from containerization of your application, setting like pulling up the image from the container registry, updating your application, load balancer, network security, observation, how this your application is working, and security perspective. All the perspectives are being covered under this AWS App Runner. So after finishing this, just click on next. Okay, so create and deploy. So it will take some time to deploy. Okay, some error is there. Okay, so we can create. So you can see there's already one app runner ECR role already exists. So if you're doing for the first time, it will automatically create. So next time, either you can put some name over here. So I'm just choosing my existing role over here. I think I need to go back, previous slide. Okay, here I already having this role, use the existing role. So you can see app runner ECS access role for the container registry. So no need of, if you are creating for the first time, you just click new and you can customize that also. Okay. So once we click next, okay, next. Okay, now create and deploy. So it will take some time in order to deploy our application. So it is in progress. We need to wait for 1 to 2 minutes. Then I will show you the application running. So you can see the logs are also there and it's creating the service, the event, when it started, when it is updating. So everything is being there. You can see the application logs also. So we'll just wait for 2 3 minutes, then I will show you the output. So you can see the service is being created and you can see the activity. If you want to see all those things, metrics, uh, you can just click here. It will take some time to load. So we can do one thing. Okay, so you can see there is no request count and all, nothing is there. So let's click on this and let's see. So you can see this is our application that is being running, AWS App Runner demo by Just Cloud Tech. Let's click. Okay, so now we can go back and you can see all the details over here. If you want to enable the tracing, it is off. Configuration. If you want to add the custom domains, you can add the custom domains to it. So these are the configurations that are being done over here. So in the public endpoint, you can also set it up. So if you go to the metrics again, we should be able to view something, some requests coming in. Okay, it's taking some time. You can check later on because it takes some time. It's not real time, so it will take some. It's there. So you can see this is the active instance that we're having one, and there is no CPU utilization. Something is coming up. You can see some values are coming up, memory utilization and all. Similarly, you can see the how many 200 response, how many request counts were there. You can keep on refreshing it, and you definitely will see some values over here. Okay, so you can check the logs over here if you want. Okay, just taking back. So you can search the logs. So you can see these are the things that all happened over here. Deployment successful, is triggering the event. We can also check the logs over in the CloudWatch. So these are the application logs. If you want to check last written, then you can have all the details. So you can see over here from Google Chrome, there was some requests over here. You can see there is some favorite icon errors and also everything is being noted down over here. So this is how you can have a look into all the details of your application. You can check the metrics and all, and you can get full control of your applications through this AWS App Runner. Okay, so you can see over here, there is some request count coming up. You can see over here. So there is 10 requests. So this is how you can utilize it. Now, in the end, in order to avoid any billing and all, just go back, go to the app runner and select your service over here and take an action on it. You can see it is showing you the source also based upon which like ECR, it is this application is being deployed. And we can just go back to this in order to avoid any billing, just delete this one and click delete. Okay, it will take some time to delete. In the meantime, you can also go back over here and you can delete your repository over here. It will just delete everything. Okay, so that's all how you can utilize AWS App Runner to deploy your application, how we can use a Docker, how we can use the Visual Studio Code efficiently. It's very simple. You can have your front end and back end deployed. You can easily utilize this option. It's very handy in order to utilize, like you can go through all the options in a very shorter period of time. So I hope you like this video. Please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.